Scott Morgan here, Michigan Sports Radio. Joining me tonight are the Coopersville varsity football seniors. Most of them are here. So we're going to talk about this season from when they were back in December to now. Dylan Merlot is with us. Dylan, back in December, you were done playing football for the fall. We lost to Cedar Springs. What did you start doing to get ready for this season?
Well, football, it's really not just a one-season sport. It's a 12-month sport. Football never stops in the off-season. At least myself, was focused on getting stronger and hopefully faster. For the four-man workouts, we went down to Jenison and threw routes on air and was just focused on getting better throwing the ball in Jenison.
Colton Bosch, what'd you do to start getting prepared for this season?
Yeah, like Dylan said, we went down to, we rented some turf space in Jenison. It was called Soccer Zone. And we went out there every Sunday night and four-man workouts. We started throwing the ball around, getting, used to the chemistry for the receivers and the running back and get all that stuff worked out. That's kind of what we really focused on, the start of the season.
Ryan Serba, were you part of that as well?
Yup, our whole receiving core was there.
And what'd you get out of that the most?
I think it really was just focusing on technique and fixing routes that I wasn't as good at previously.
Nash, how about you? Were you a part of that as well?
I was a part of that. I would say my favorite part about the whole thing was we'd go to Culver's after every single one. Right there, it was right next to the turf we were on. So after we do our hour or so workout of just run routes and learn some new plays, we'd all just go over to Culver's, and it was just a good team bonding time.
Sounds fun.
Ty, how about you? Were you part of that?
I was not. I did not run routes. But I sure did get to see a video of it every single time it happened.
Well, that's what happens when you're a lineman.
So,
wasn't a lineman.
Ty, let's talk about what'd you do to get prepared then?
I think the biggest thing for me this off season was putting on weight. I think there's a lot of moments in this off season where big focus was looking at what I could grow as a player from last year. I think a lot of that was just being bigger, being oversized, and that's what my biggest focus on was tracking calories and making sure I get my food in.
Excellent. Gavin, how about you?
This winter, I put on about 40 pounds, so I was like 200 pounds as a corner, and then I decided to lose it all for the season. But I got a bit stronger and I got faster, so I got something out of it.
Got something out of it. All right. Tucker, how about you?
When I did this off season, I just lifted weights. Like, I want to go heavy on my legs and upper body, and yeah.
Excellent. Okay. We're now to March, April. Were you able to get outside and start doing stuff outside? You shaking your heads? You have to say yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Not a podcast.
So what did you do outside?
Well, I think, was it March?
It was around March.
Yeah, around March we started going out right onto our home turf here in Coopersville, and we did the same thing, running routes and really just getting faster, getting our footwork in, and just preparing for the summer, because summer workouts, they're starting soon, and they're gonna get to you.
Nate?
Kind of the same thing. We transitioned just to the field, just kept doing the same things we were doing inside, just getting outside, getting on the field, seeing what it'd be like on the turf, and yeah.
Okay. Now we're into summer. Have we made it? We're just starting to where you as a whole group is starting to work out. What was the best practice drill that you like to do? Sorry. What's the best practice drill that was fun during the summer?
Red zone one-on-ones.
Red zone one-on-ones. Explain.
So the DBs and the wide receivers, they all line up and they get in a one-on-one situation from the 10-yard line going into the end zone. And then, it's one-on-one, so you just see who's the better ball player.
Connor, how about you?
Yeah, red zone one-on-ones had to have been my favorite too. even though I do play corner, I really never like doing one-on-ones at the corner spot.
No?
No.
All right.
Scott, I'll tell you what the worst summer drill is. That is inside run.
It's inside run.
If you just want to take all your pads off and then play like rugby, you're not gonna have a fun time. And it sucks. It's hard and it's not a fun experience, but it's something you just gotta do and slug through in the summer.
Okay.
Personally, I'm gonna have to disagree with that. I was gonna say inside run is my favorite.
Well, good. That's why.
Because he's not allowed to get hit.
No. I just like taking the ball and going.
Okay.
Run downhill.
With no pad.
With no pads on.
Only you do that with pads on.
Favorite.
I'd probably have to say the red zone one-on-one.
You're still red zone. Everybody likes the red zone 1-on-1.
Especially when the linemen get in on it too. And get the linemen going.
You gotta explain it.
Explain.
What day is it?
So it's either Tuesday or Wednesday, and every week it's a different two linemen. I know Marcus got in on a couple. It's just lineman versus lineman, and Ty got in on a couple.
All right. So now we're moving to the first game, Big Rapids. What's your thoughts? What are you, as seniors? What are you thinking? You know, you're coming into this game. It's your first game. What were you feeling?
I mean, I think obviously everybody's, there's nerves. It's the first game of the season, so everybody is excited, but at the same time you're nervous. You want the best of that first game, kind of set the tone for the rest of the season. And I think that kind of coming into that game, I think we were all kind of as one unit. We played really well, and it came out of there with a dub. So it was a real good start to the season, I would say. Yeah.
One of the biggest things that was a surprise for me to call the game was I watched Coach, and he raised his arms up, like a Hercules, and a whole new staff came from the bench and went out on field, and you left.
Yeah. I don't know. So it's called Diesel. I'll explain here. It's Diesel. He comes out, and Nash goes in for me at quarterback, and we just run right into the defense, to the defense. We go right at him.
Gavin, how fun is that?
Not very.
Not very?
Well, I was part of it actually. But,
Yeah, you're part of it.
So, it was fun to just run through, hit somebody, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a surprise, like I said. It correct me if I'm wrong, it has surprised quite a few people this season, especially Big Rapids. 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns off of that.
Yeah.
That's huge to set up that type of offensive scheme and play that way. Dylan, favorite memory from that game?
I'm gonna have to go with one of the Diesel plays. I was part of one of the lead blockers in that play, and I got on my guy, I blocked him, and I turned around, and Nash is just taking it to the house for 60. Bro, 60 yards. not points.
Yep, 60 yards. Ty, favorite memory?
Ooh, from Big Rapids?
Yep.
Honestly, it was probably after the game when we were just all celebrating in the locker room together. We had the music going, and it's like when it's your first game of the year, when it's your first game of the year like that, it's sort of a situation where you just get excited. You're like, oh, it's football season again, and that doesn't really hit you until that first game's over, I feel like. So that was just a very cool moment.
Okay. So we gotta come out with a W. Ryan, favorite memory for the next game? Sparta.
I think my favorite memory from Sparta was after the game, the feeling of we did it, because the emphasis that week was Sparta used to be a big rival, so we have to win that game for the old guys. So I feel like
easy on the old guys.
Seeing the scoreboard after the game, we won it. We did what we were supposed to do. That was probably it.
Connor, favorite memory?
My favorite memory from Sparta would have to be one of Bo's interceptions. Bo running down the field. He's very slow. I caught up to him. And he got pushed out of bounds.
Tucker, how about you?
I would say the one touchdown pass to Serba. That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite one.
All right. So we move to the next game. We're 2-0. Okay. Gavin?
Unity, I will admit that was a rough game for me. I got caught, So like I was saying, I got caught looking at things I shouldn't have been. I thought I saw things that I didn't see. So, I learned my lesson, and I decided from then on I was just going to do my job and not try to do other people's jobs, and that's worked well so far.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So,
Hold on.
So I know we had an interview the week after Unity Week, and I said it there, and I'm going to say it again. Us as a group of seniors, we all talked about it, and we thought out of the 4 years that we've been playing football for Coopersville, that was the best week of practice we've ever had. And I've never been more confident going into a game, and that we were in that game the entire time. And just errors and I think some penalties, and that's just what stopped us from winning that game.
Yeah, it was real close all the way there. So now move to the next game. Who wants to talk about it? Nate?
What game was
Hamilton.
That game, I think, coming out of the loss, it started a lot slower than we wanted it to. We were really flat, I guess, and it kind of hit us in the face in the first half. Then came out the second half, figured out what we needed to do, and ended up working out for us. So
Yeah, it came out there. And that's Evan, your thoughts on that game at Hamilton?
The first half was really slow, and everyone on the bench was kind of quiet, and the fans were quiet. And then the second half, I thought we played really good, and we were all getting hyped up, and it was just fun.
It was. It definitely kind of a slow start there for you, and it was, to me as the broadcaster, I expected that because Unity took a lot out of all of you. I mean, that was tough, but it was great to see you recover, and we continued to the next game. Ty?
Fruitport. That was another tough one for us. They're really talented. They got some guys, but the big lesson that I would give credit to Fruitport for, and I think they really helped us out down the line at this point, is that when you're dealing with talented guys like Fruitport has, we got to go after them. And I feel like that game we really sat back and we let their talent dictate us instead of trying to make them uncomfortable. So I think that's just a big lesson that we took from that game was. In the future, we got to go after a person with that much talent. So,
Okay. Anybody else? Tanner on Fruitport. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, get to come up and get to speak loud. There you go.
Yeah, that game was a hard game for us. We came out very slow, but the second half we tried staying in the game the whole time, but we had to wait for them to hit us, and we, like Ty said, we weren't going to go hit them, and they pretty much just ran us over doing that the whole game, and we didn't fix our mistakes fast enough, and that game hurt us.
The interesting thing about that game, gentlemen, that I took from that is we were only down by 7 points still in the fourth quarter. Did you realize that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fourth quarter, we were still in the game. It was within the last
14-7.
Yeah, within the last 7:34 is when they turned it up. And it was 14-7. They were up by 7 there. So to that aspect, I mean, you were still all within the game, and then it like I said, sometimes that just happens that way. So now we have homecoming, right? Holland Christian coming into town for homecoming. We got a few guys that are on homecoming court. How big or how did we distracted at all with homecoming, or how focused were you on that? Evan?
I wasn't really distracted with homecoming because, I do the same thing every game. I just focus on doing my job, kicking.
Okay. Trent, how about you?
That game was just like a normal game for us, I guess. At least for me, I didn't think anything of it. Just thought I'd play my game and show what I can do.
Ryan, how about you?
So I was on homecoming court, and coming down Main Street with all those people there, that's crazy. And I just knew once we get to the school, I got to focus in. I got to forget about all that, and there's a job to do, and there's a lot of people there, like homecomings.
Nate, first thing you remember about homecoming, that game?
Not too much, honestly.
Yeah?
I mean, walking I was not prepared. Walking out of the tunnel, I guess, seeing, one of the biggest crowds we've ever seen. Last year, West Catholic was one of the biggest, but.
Sure. Yeah, that's a lot of people there, and I mean, there's a reason for that. And the reason is you're sitting in this room. You realize that, right?
Yeah.
The reason why homecoming was that much bigger was because of all you guys. So take that, put that back here, because it'll come back up later. So, Connor, favorite?
From Holland Christian?
Yeah.
My favorite event, I had a pick six against
I knew I had to get there, yeah. So, walk me through it.
So I caught the ball, right?
Did he throw it to you?
He threw it straight to me.
Right at you?
Yeah. Well, the receiver completely missed the ball. And then I'm running down. He tries to tackle me, and it felt like my knee locked up.
Yeah.
And I just stood. It felt like I stood there for like a second. And then I see Ty come running across my face and just take this guy to the bus. He was just taking him. And there's a video of him just taking him out of the back of the end zone. And then I cut back and get tackled right in the end zone.
Excellent. So now, after Holland Christian, comes the next game.
What was that game?
Allendale.
Allendale was a shutout.
Yeah.
There's the first thing.
There
Okay.
we go.
Defense.
Yeah.
Where you at?
That was the first game where I just, okay, I won't say the first. The first couple games were pretty good, but that game was the first game in a while that I just felt like we were glued together as a unit instead of being like, doing our own thing.
Yeah.
Shutting somebody out was pretty hard to do, and we succeeded. So.
Nash, how about you? I mean, you're part of that defense.
I think the thing was, it was the first time in a long time that we started out on defense. Instead of, because they won the toss and they wanted the ball, which is weird because usually people defer.
Right.
And if we win, we want the ball.
Yep.
So it was just, I think it was just different being on defense first and being able to get that stop and our offense go score. Made us realize that obviously it's really important to get stops, and we just did it all game.
Definitely. Let's see here. Ryan, Allendale, what do you think?
Yeah, Allendale for some reason always tries to man cover everyone, so you do get a lot of shots downfield, and you can really put up some points on them if you're taking advantage.
Bosch, probably Allendale was probably
my favorite game by far.
Yeah, I would agree.
Got to set the school record for most touchdown passes in the game. Shout out to Nick Gordon and the guys up front, protecting me, and Nick Gordon making me look good. He had 4 touchdown catches that game, so that was a lot of fun. Did some things defensively that we could really chuck the ball around, and we executed right. So.
Yep. What do you think? On Allendale.
Yeah.
You gotta come up and join us. There you go.
Yeah. So Allendale was a fun game to be part of.
Okay. We move to who next?
We got
West
Catholic.
Catholic.
We don't need to say West Catholic.
Did we skip that one?
Yeah.
West Catholic. I wasn't there, so we don't know very much about the game.
I was just waiting for West Catholic. For West Catholic, I think most important takeaway is that we lost to a good team that just played better than us on that day. But I think that everyone that watched that game and everyone that played in that game knew that that was a competitive environment. Just a few key mistakes were what made that game, what the final score looked like or what it was. So I think coming out of that game still with confidence is super important because we know we're a good team that can compete with everybody. And in my opinion, they're probably a state championship level team. and I think we knew that we were very competitive with that team. So I think that's just important to keep that in our minds as we move forward, and that was the big takeaway from West Catholic heading into our last game.
Which obviously worked. You come in and you have Spring Lake last week. It was tough at first, correct, Tanner?
Yeah, it was a really good game. We actually stopped them their first drive. They might have got one first down, but up front they tried running the dive, but up front we just stopped them, and it worked out really good the first drive.
Gavin?
Yeah, Spring Lake, they didn't really try to throw the ball that much, so, being a corner, I was just kind of waiting for them to come my way, and every once in a while they had those ends come out on a corner route, and I was waiting for them every time, so, it helps with film study and, once again, doing your job, always.
Yep. Trent? Offensive center?
For me, the first quarter was a little rough. But after the first quarter, I picked it up pretty good, and then the rest of us we started just hammering the ball, and I think the run game turned up, and then we were even able to pass a little bit. So I think up front we held our own after the first half, and were able to control the defensive line.
Nash?
I think, I'm glad that we didn't go into that game underestimating them.
Yeah.
Because I think before they beat Unity, we all thought that they were going to be really bad, which at the beginning of the season, they were not a good team. They lost to teams that they should have beaten.
Right.
But they really got better as the season went on, and I think we realized that after we saw the Unity versus Spring Lake score and how they beat them.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew that we actually needed to bring our A game because they're going to be a good team.
Yes, definitely. That was a big difference, even in my eyes, when they beat Unity. It was an eye opener there. Okay, we go to the draw. We draw Cedar Springs, who we all are very familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
What do we need to do to be successful Friday night? Offense. We'll start with you guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's, we put together a game plan so far, and then we just got to go out there and execute. We got to go out there, do our jobs, and, offensive standpoint, just put as many points on that scoreboard as possible,
Okay.
Maybe not try to rely on the defense. So, I mean, obviously it's nice to have defense that keeps them off the scoreboard, but, if we can score as many points as we can, it takes the pressure off those guys and let them just kind of play stress-free.
Dylan?
Well, with it being week 9, you kind of figure out how they like to play and how they like to play certain offenses. And
Correct.
It's easy to see after watching film who their best defensive players are, and we have a game plan surrounding them and stopping them, and hopefully be able to run the ball and throw the ball down the field.
Ryan?
So, with it being a wing tee, they have the ball for a long time, long possessions, and we just need to focus on scoring, poking holes in their defense to the best of our ability, because they're not going to be able to score really fast at the end of the game if we're up by enough.
Tied defensively, what are we going to do?
It's all about physicality this week. I mean, they're a really well-coached team up front. They got good hand placement. They got good feet, and they're big physical kids. They got some kids that are especially talented up front. And so I think the big deal this week is sort of like we did against Unity. We just got to be more physical than them up front. We gotta bring them. We have film of them and how to beat them. I guess they got 4 losses on the season. You get to see how some teams were able to do that, and it's all about being more physical than them. They really want to get comfortable, and they want to get in short yardage situations. And so if we're able to meet them in the backfield and early downs and put them in some 3rd and longs, some 4th and longs, then they're going to be forced to go outside of their comfort zone. So I think that's a huge deal for this week.
Okay. Connor?
I think the main thing this week is to work as a team and trust each other that they can do their jobs, and they can trust you that you can do your job.
Definitely. Gentlemen, I want to take and say thank you for your time here tonight. Get to see all you guys and congratulate you on regular season. Job well done. I mean, 6-3 is very good. There are some teams that don't have this week 10. Okay, so be thankful, think of that, but be hungry as well, because we definitely want to go for as long as a ride as we can. All right, and like I said, it's been a fun time for me to call and watch you guys go from way back in the summertime at Union scrimmage to now. The changes I've seen and the growth I've seen has been unbelievably and phenomenal. So let's continue us Friday night. And let's see if we can't get a victory out of there, Cedar Springs, and get ready for the next game. So good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.